In my last video, I said that everyone has human rights, and that's 100% true. But does that mean human rights are unlimited, that there's no restriction on them? Further, I'd never answered the question, can people lose human rights? Are human rights kind of like pocket change, where you can wake up one Tuesday morning and lose your freedom of speech? As implied by that ridiculous situation, no. Human rights are not something that can be lost, but they are something that can be limited, and let's get into the details of what these mean. The first part is that human rights are inalienable. Now, what does that mean? It means that you cannot lose your human rights, you cannot give away your human rights. As long as you are alive, you will have your human rights. What it doesn't mean is that you can't waive your human rights. It's up to you if you want to use your human rights or not. If you've ever seen an American cop show, then you've undoubtedly seen a cop arrest someone and start saying, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. And then typically in the show, the person just starts talking because, hey, it makes good for a good show. But that's a terrible idea. If you have a right, it's your choice whether to use it or not, but you typically should. And if you're ever arrested, don't say anything. Wait till you've had an opportunity to converse with a lawyer. Another situation, which is a lot more unrealistic, but I think is kind of interesting, is the idea that you cannot sign a contract with someone to make yourself their slave. You cannot give up your liberty, your freedom, even if you want to. Great, so those are some examples how human rights are always with you. You can't get rid of them, you can't lose them, but that doesn't mean that they're unlimited. So I want to give some examples of that. A classic example is the famous saying, "Your right to swing your arm ends at my face." What that expression means is that you might have a general right that you can move your arms, but at some point that right is going to cause an infringement on my ability to enjoy my rights, and that's not cool. So when you have that situation of one right abutting another right, then you're going to have a compromise. The details of the compromise are going to depend on how what society prioritizes or historical developments. The details we don't have to worry about. But the point is that this right is being limited because of another right, not because of any other non-right issue. And so in that situation, even if you care about rights, you're not going to have unlimited rights. Now I want to go into a little bit more of a complex example. If I have a right to liberty, and that, is going to be with me until I die, then are prisons a violation of my rights? I don't want to go to prison. It's involuntary. So does the government violate my rights by putting me in prison? Well, the obvious answer to that question is going to be no. Otherwise, pretty much every country would be violating that human right. But why is that? Why is it okay to put someone in prison even if they don't want to? How does that not violate their rights? Well, let's take a step back. Before being in prison, when you did have your right to freedom, presumably you used that right to infringe on other people's rights. Stealing from them or assaulting them, what have you. Things that are typically known as a crime. And if you've committed a crime, society is justified in imprisoning you as a form of punishment or to prevent you from being able to commit another crime, aka infringe on other people's rights again. The process to do that is through courts and the criminal justice system, and the government is required to comply with another one of your human rights, the right to a fair trial. But all of that is way too complicated. It'll be talked about in another video. So that's it. Human rights. You're born with them, you die with them, you don't lose any in the middle, but they're not unlimited, and they can certainly be restricted based on your actions and how you infringe on other people's rights. That's it. I hope you liked this video. Click subscribe for more of Inside Human Rights.